back everybody, Matt in the Bat here. So I saw the new Black Panther today, and so here we are. This is the final Phase 4 movie in the MCU. This is the final movie, superhero movie of the year of 2022. This is a sequel to Black Panther that came out in 2018. And so let's get into it. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. You know, this was a really hard movie to make for the director, Ryan Coogler. If you remember back in 2020, we got the really sad news that Chadwick Boseman, the actor that played T'Challa, Black Panther, passed away. He was apparently, he had cancer, and he didn't let anyone know until he died. That's when we found out he had cancer for a while. And it kind of shook everybody. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. Nobody knew about this. Now, I don't know if the studios like Marvel, Disney, or Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel, Ryan Coogler, the director, I don't know if they knew about it, and maybe they just wanted to keep it quiet. But, I mean, I know, at least for people like me and a lot of movie people, this was a very sad news to hear. Because Chadwick Boseman was a very good actor. You go all the way back to, like, Get On Up, where he played Jackie Brown, or 42, where he played Jackie Robinson. And then you look at some other movies he's been in. Like, he was in that movie, Giraffe Day, the football movie with Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner. He was good in that. He was a very talented actor. And he did a really good job as T'Challa, not only in Black Panther, but Captain America Civil War, where we were first introduced to him. And then like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Well, you gotta think, when Endgame came out in 2019, just a year later he was dead. I mean, so that's really like, wow, when you really think about that for a second. And it was, but it also made things really hard on the director, who also wrote the script. Like, they were soon to go into production not too long before he died, and then all of a sudden he died, and they were like, what are we going to do? We have this script, and we just found out recently that the script, the original script, was going to deal with T'Challa, after Endgame, dealing with being gone for 5 years during the blip, and what that did to Wakanda, and what that did to the people around him, his mother, his sister, other people, and they was going to be dealing with that, so more on a personal level. And apparently we're still going to have Namor and the political stuff that I'm going to get in the review. But, when your main actor, your main character dies, what do you do? I mean, yeah, they could have recast the role, and I think a lot of people would have been fine with that. Because even though he wasn't Black Panther for that long, but then we introduced him in 2016, he only had his one movie, Black Panther, in 2018. He didn't show up until halfway through Infinity War, and he didn't show up until the third act of Endgame, the battle. So, it's not like he was Black Panther for that long, to be like, oh, you can't recast, Or this wasn't like a Heath Ledger Joker moment of, no, he stole the Dark Knight, and he also won an Academy Award for that role. You do not want to recast just to have the Joker in the Dark Knight 3. or the third film in the Nolan trilogy. So, but the director, I think, actually made a very smart decision and said, we're not going to recast. I'll sit down and rewrite the story a little bit and figure out a way to tell this story that still has elements that I originally wanted to do, but obviously we gotta deal with this. And here we go. Positives for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Number one is the acting. The acting in this movie, I would say, is even better than in the first Black Panther. Outside of Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger, and of course Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, which neither of them are in this movie. So as they acting, like the actors that were more supporting characters, or even not even supporting, like third-rate characters in the first Black Panther, had to, become main characters in this movie, and they really do a great job. Angela Bassett, who plays the Queen and the mother of T'Challa, she does an amazing job in this movie. I know a lot of you are banging around Oscar contender, and I will have to say Angela Bassett gives some of the most emotional and powerful moments in this movie. So as a best supporting actress, possible nomination, yes. And if she does get nominated, she'll only be the second actor in Hollywood, besides Heath Ledger, to be nominated for a comic book film in the supporting, I think overall, but also in the supporting category. So Angela Bassett, we saw a little bit in the trailer when she gives that speech, and it's a great speech, and it goes a little bit further too in that scene, and she nailed it both at the beginning with T'Challa. I mean, Angela Bassett is the MVP of this movie. She's a powerhouse all the way through. And then we get Shuri, played by Letitia Wright, the sister of T'Challa, and Letitia Wright really steps up. In the last one, in the Black Panther one, he provided more of the science, the nerd, but also the humor a lot. This one, Shuri has a very, very emotional arc. With the death of T'Challa, it really becomes a powerful arc for the character, and it allows the actress Letitia Wright to really flex her acting range, to really show people, yeah, I got what it takes to not only carry this movie, but any other role I have in the future. She has a very interesting, important, sometimes even dark at times, arc, and very emotional arc that is very powerful. And this is what you see, like when Ryan Coogler had to go back and try to rewrite the script a little bit, probably for like a character like Shuri to be like, okay, your brother is dead, your mentor, the person you looked up to. How are you going to deal with that? And I thought Letitia Wright did an amazing job in the role this time around. Then we got Danny Guerrera. He plays the main Dora Milaje, warrior. I forget her actual name in the movie and the character, but Danny Guerrera is also great in this movie. She also deals with a lot of emotional moments. Obviously the death of her king that she protects. She has moments with Angela Bassett that are great. She's another one that really has a lot of emotional moments. But also she handles the action scenes like we saw in the original Black Panther very well. Powerful, badass. And these three women are like the MVPs of this movie. Then we get into Namor himself, the actor, and he does an amazing job. I think even for someone who's not on screen that much, but when he has some really great moments with Letitia Wright as Shuri, and I thought he did an amazing job in the role. Now, I wouldn't consider him as good as Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, in Black Panther 1 as a villain, you know what I mean? But I think as a villain of Phase 4, he's the best villain we've had in Phase 4. Now, whether you look at the other than in Shang-Chi, the father in Shang-Chi being the villain, I would say the villain of Shang-Chi and then Namor would be the second best villain in Phase 4. He does a great job. The action in this movie, I think, one thing I noticed even more in this film was the visual effects. I think the visual effects in this movie are better than what we saw in the first movie. I mean, this first movie has some effects-wise, like you can tell it's CGI, and like that fight between Killmonger and Black Panther in the third act, very CGI heavy, and you can definitely tell the CGI was very noticeable in that. Here, in Wakanda Forever, the CGI is way better visually. A lot of the underwater scenes with Namor and the city under the sea. This is not the Little Mermaid. That comes out in 2023. But which actually makes me more excited for that movie now. Seeing the underwater stuff in Wakanda Forever done by Disney, the same studio. I thought the visuals in this movie were better than what we saw in the last Black Panther movie. Yes, it's been 4 years, and effects get better each year, but I thought visually this was especially with the underwater stuff, that even James Cameron, our boy James Cameron, with that new Avatar movie. Sorry, James, I think someone already beat you to the punch between the blue people and the underwater scenes. So we'll see. I thought the visuals were great. I like how this tone took a more serious tone. Obviously because of the death of Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa, this movie can take a more serious tone. You saw that in the first trailer we got at Comic-Con in July. And this movie definitely is a more serious movie. Now, this movie does have some humor. And some of it does come from a new character, Rory Williams, a.k.a. Ironheart. Kind of like the next Iron Man. But unlike the first Black Panther, where I didn't like the humor, because it cut into the more serious moments in that movie, here the humor is placed at a very appropriate time. A very good time. And a lot of it comes from this new character, Rory Williams, who's only like a teenager. So which makes sense. So I'm very happy that this movie, and like I said, a lot of Marvel movies since Avengers Age of Ultron have had this weird thing of having a serious moment, and right after cutting into this funny moment, and it just takes away from that serious moment to, sink in and really ponder. I mean, they did it in Ultron, they did it in Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Thor Ragnarok. I mean, and it has kind of become like Thor Love and Thunder, and it's kind of become like okay, is everything going to be a joke, or are we going to actually, make this serious? Have a serious movie here. And this movie really is very serious. And I like that. I hope Marvel stays on that path moving forward. Yes, because of the material and what the story's about, it was always going to have that serious tone. But I'm glad they stuck with it. And didn't try and use the serious moments and then cut into humor with a funny moment. I like the political aspects of this movie. This movie has a great scene at the United Nations that is very powerful. And not only powerful, but really this is going to be kind of one of my negatives too. I wish they dug more into it. Because the idea of everyone now knowing that Wakanda has all this vibranium, and that was kind of revealed at the end of Black Panther 1 by T'Challa, this hidden city of Wakanda. And now, everyone wants it. Everyone wants this higher tech, this new advanced technology. You got all these different countries wanting it. So I'm going to great lengths to try and get it. And I really like that idea, like a political film, almost like a Winter Soldier in a way. And it was one of the best Marvel movies, or Civil War. And I kind of wish they went further into that, and they don't. Because I think that could have been a very intriguing movie of, what are you going to do with all this vibranium out? Are you going to help these other countries, or are you going to just tell everyone you have it and not share it with people? And then what are people going to do? Are they going to come in and try and steal it? And the last positive I have here is the opening, the first 10 minutes of this movie, maybe 15, and the last maybe 10 minutes of the movie, the first 10 to 15 minutes and the last 10 to 15 minutes are very emotional moments. Very emotional scenes. That I was even getting a little watery-eyed. And I'm like, whoa, man, I didn't think this, whole T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, death was going to hit me. But I even had moments of, sniffles in the theater. And I was shocked, and I'm like, I like this character, but I'm not like, this isn't like a Tony Stark or something. This is, like I said, the way Ryan Coogler, the director, pulled it off, both in the first 10 minutes and in the last 10 minutes, it really hits you. So I thought that was a great job. The pacing with this movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes. Now, of course, that's with credits. So even if you take out the credits and there's only one, I'll let you know right now. Not a spoiler. Actually, this will save you time. This movie only has one mid-credit scene. Not a final credit scene. One mid-credit scene. So, probably this movie is about 2 hours and 35 minutes before the end credits start going. Which is still considered one of the longest, the second or the third longest Marvel movie outside of Avengers Endgame and last year's Eternals. And I definitely think this movie could have been cut about 15 minutes. They have two subplots in this movie. One dealing with Martin Freeman, who we saw in the first Black Panther, or as I like to refer to him as Bilbo Baggins. Actually, not a spoiler, I'm just going to go right here. The first time we see Martin Freeman in this movie, he's running in the woods in this forest. And I was like, oh look, it's Bilbo Baggins. He's going on another adventure. Where is Gandalf? Gandalf! So I thought that was funny. But his whole story in this movie, Martin Freeman's, his whole subplot, no reason for it. You can take out those 10 minutes, 15 minutes of his storyline, his subplot, and it wouldn't do a single thing to the rest of the movie. So right there, that would right there drop the movie down under 2.5 hours. So, just right there. Then the whole Riri Williams, the new Ironheart, she also has some story, a lot of story set up, and I was watching it going, you didn't need to have this many scenes just to get to Riri Williams. Or when we finally get to see Riri Williams do what she needs to do in this movie. I was thinking to myself, you could have pulled off another Civil War, how we were introduced to Peter Parker. He goes, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, Tony Stark, went to go see Peter at his apartment, dorm, whatever, with his Aunt May. They introduced him as Peter Parker, and the next thing we see him is as Spider-Man at the airport. Done. Finished. Introduce the character. Yay. Here they spend too much time, dealing with Rory Williams, that I was like, you're gonna probably cut a good percentage of those scenes down a little bit. Because we know she's getting her own Disney Plus show called Ironheart, probably coming out next year. So, I don't know, definitely were two, one, especially the Martin Freeman one, I think some of the Rory Williams stuff could have been shortened. I think they needed to have more of Namor. I think actually it's only a good 30 minutes or so into the movie till we really get Namor. There's a couple of scenes where he's kind of in the background, but there's a finally seeing him and, hearing him talk and actually doing something to move the plot forward. That really involves him and what he's doing and why he's doing it. I would say it's probably about a half hour or 40 minutes into the movie till we finally see Namor. And I think they should have had more of him in the movie. I wanted more of the political aspects of this movie. They have this great United Nations sequence, and then that's it. And I'm like, we need more of the political. Once again, we have all this vibranium that's out there and people know about it now. And they kind of just forget about it. Forget about it. Move on to something else. And I think, really when you look back, like I said, on like Winter Soldier and Civil War, that dealt with more political stuff. This could have been a great, and then you had the Black Panther 2, you could have had another great kind of Winter Soldier movie with the political aspects in this movie. In the action scenes, I think there's some great action scenes in this movie, but I also think there are, once again, kind of like the first Black Panther, where Ryan Coogler sometimes goes a little too close, and you can't really tell what's going on, or the editing is too quick, and you're like, okay, what happened there? He did that in the first Black Panther, and he does it a few times in this movie. Now, not all of them are like that. I think the action is better in this movie than in the last movie. But it's odd because you see like a guy like Ryan Coogler, who directed Creed, the Rocky spin-off. And some of the best moments in that movie are the fight sequences in the ring and how Ryan Coogler shot those. Now, yes, I understand having two people in a ring punching each other and then having a full-on action, explosions, fighting, swinging, flying, whatever, car chasing. That's a lot different than having two people in a boxing ring punching each other. But I wish he, like I said, was like getting too close up in some of the moments. Have more of those wide shots and really show what's going on. But overall, I do enjoy this movie. I do think it's one of the better MCU movies of Phase 4. Now, that might not mean much since Phase 4 hasn't been that great of a phase. Phase 5 will begin with Ant-Man and Quantumania coming out in February of next year, though only 3 months away till Phase 5 begins. But I don't think lately I've only seen this movie once, so I'm not going to say if it was better than Black Panther 1 or not. I think after I see this movie again, I'll be able to give a better judgment on was it better than the first Black Panther movie. I think there are things that were. The action was better than this one than the last one. I think obviously the seriousness was better and not undercutting with humor. I think the acting was very good up there with the first. So overall, I would give this probably like a 4.3 out of 5. 4.4, 4.3 in that range. I think it was a very good movie. I think I loved how it dealt with that seriousness. It was very emotional. which is also something we really haven't seen in the MCU. So I do applaud them for taking that step with this movie of, let's bring something that we haven't seen before. A very emotional, powerful story. So overall, right there, let me know what you think about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's playing in theaters. Comment, let me know what you thought. Did you like the movie? Did you not? Positives, negatives. So let me know. And like I said, this is the last movie of Phase 4. I might do a ranking of at least the Phase 4 movies. I haven't done a whole MCU ranking. I might save that for like January, after the holidays are over and before Ant-Man 3 comes out in February and before Phase 5 begins. But for now, I think this was one of the better Phase 4 movies, up there with Shang-Chi. So let me know in the comments below. Matt the Matt here.